Hello party people. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this great, super hot and sexy 5 by 5. Let's see it close. I'm really hyping it up. It takes like almost 6 seconds to open, but it's decently small. There's definitely way better doors you can make, but explanation video, it's pretty simple, all things considered. Uh, but yeah. I'm going to show you how to make this. I'm not really going to go into depth on what materials you need because I'm lazy. But let's start with the piston layout. So for the door frame, go up 5 blocks with these 4 blocks. This is going to be the middle of your door frame. Just make the door. And then you're going to make your piston layout and the inputs. So triple on the bottom like that. And this whole glass layer just place blocks on, so it's not actually going to be used in wiring. Storage like that. And ports there. For the inputs, we are going to use white wool. So you're going to have dust along here, and then a block repeater on it with another block there. Then you're going to have 2 pistons here. You're going to have observers going like this, observers going like that, and then your pistons there. And then for the storage, the inputs are pretty swag tactical. You're just gonna have stuff going like that, and that observer goes over here. And then just break these for a second, and then face these droppers into each other like that. And I'll tell you why that is in just a second. But for now, put blocks there and there, pistons there and there. These will make 0 tick sliders, so they'll do that. Swag. Anyways, in these droppers, just get 3 random items. Could be whatever. Fill one of them up like this, one of them up like that, and one of them up like that. So that should be your bottom inputs. Now for the top inputs, they're a little more complex, but still not that bad. You're going to have a folded quad up here, actually, and should look like that. And then for the inputs, you're going to have blocks going like that with a 3 tick there, wool there, and a, which way, okay, no. You're going to have a powered rail here, and you can just fill in most of this ceiling, all these solid blocks, and you're going to get a slab and put it here with a block there, power rail there, and then you're going to get not a decorated pot, you're going to get an observer, place that there with some white wool and a 3 tick repeater, and I think, yep, that does have to be a slab. White wool all along there, and then you're going to get dust and put it all along there with a, actually that's all for the inputs. So basically how the majority of this top works, I won't go too into depth because it's kind of hard to show how to show the inputs, but for the most part we just also these have to be immovable blocks. They can be furnaces or whatever, but just for the sake of simplicity and making the building process ever so slightly easier, I'm making that. But yeah, basically how this works is we one twice, and then that does most of the quad extension. We just have to bud this line at the right time. So it basically will do, and then we have pistons like that. We do that. In the while that's doing that, this fire, it'll be like that. And then as we're powering this to pick up the blocks, we will pull that up. This will retract, and this will go, and then this observer will actually no, it won't, but it'll basically do that, and then we'll be left with that. So then we just start the next quad by doing this, and essentially repeating the whole process by doing this. Fucking hell, it'll, because I don't have the updater, duh. That'll get pushed down, pushed in. Ignore the fact that that just totally broke. I probably did it in the wrong order. Anyways, I'm gonna try that again. In fact, I'll do this. So we will. Oh yeah, duh. I can't remember how many updaters I need. I'm so smart. And then slab there. So then we just do. Hell, why am I feel like I'm going insane, but anyways, you get the idea. But anyways, yeah. So you can just take this back and break that observer for now. I'm not totally sure that that's where it's supposed to go. So to start things off, you are going to get a note block and just tuck that there. Actually, that, oh wait, no. It goes right here. And then you're going to place that there and a observer with some red wool on top of it, because this is the quad extension slash closing circuit. It's all basically the same thing. And that will do your whole closing. If we flick it, and then if we flick it again, we'll do most of your quad extensions. So super fun and swag, right? So now we just need to get a correctly timed pulse to this line. And what I did for that is I had a slab there. I'm gonna grab my red wool, and then a 3-tick with a piston on its face and an observer, and then you have a block there, just a door block, and then a 2-tick, I believe it is. And then you're gonna get another dust here, and then you're gonna start with the quad retraction circuit. So for the quad retraction circuit, you're gonna get a red wool there, 2-tick repeater, block there, and then 2 more blocks like that, and dust on top of all of those. You're gonna get a 1-tick, and then grab a piston with a gravity affected block. For the sake of the video, I'm going to use yellow concrete powder. Can't just be sand though. Then you're going to have 2 more 1-ticks like that, and that should do most of your retraction, but we need a few more pulses. So to get those pulses, we're going to come up from this observer with a block. Oh, just a regular block. It could probably be sand because it doesn't go anywhere, but I'm just going to use a block. And then you're going to have a piston there with an observer here. So what that'll do is this much. So then we're just left with 2 more pulses. The pulse where we bud this, and then the pulse where we power this. That's not hard at all. We just have some observer spam. Fun. So to get this observer spam, we have we're going to place this observer now. Then you're going to place a activator rail on top of it. And then I'm just going to break this block temporarily so we don't accidentally trigger anything. And then we have a observer there, observer, and then another observer. You can replace that desk now, and then we have another observer there with a yellow block there, and then get a slab with dust, place that there. And then that should finish your whole quad. So if we I broke perhaps chest there or a different redirector, it should fix itself. But anyways, now that we fixed our big brain mistake, we're gonna replace these blocks and actually see the quad work. First, however, we are going to break this so it doesn't accidentally trigger the wrong thing. You don't have to replace that observer because it's all on the right thing. So it'll do that on the rising edge, and it'll do that. So pretty swag money. Now we just have the refire circuit on the top. And the way I thought to do that was by doing this. We have a redstone block here, and then we have two droppers like this. And basically what this will do is when I okay, so when I'm bad at explaining stuff. In fact, I have to replace the item in this dropper first, and then replace the observer. Basically, when we trigger this observer activates, and then pushes down this redstone block, which goes up here, does the whole quad extension, and then this repeater will power the dropper again, sending the item back into this dropper, reactivating the comparator, and deactivating this, sending the next pulse out. So this whole thing will trigger again, but it's already in this, so it's not like it's gonna, go back. And then it'll just do this again, whole second quad. So if we want, we can test that. So I'll do the first one. And then before you fire that, you're just going to do that. And then you can power it here. So it'll pull back, and then it'll fire the next one. And then we just need the toggle. So to get the toggle, just place two observers here, and piston observer, and then we have a piston. Now, if you didn't know, if pistons are like the one thing where when an observer gets attracted by another piston, it won't pulse. So, so for example, if you had this, it would pulse on both edges. Alright, shit. So, well, it didn't do it that time just because I'm stupid and it was redirecting. Wait. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just slow. Yeah, you see the repeater or other thing it does with a piston. So it's good for toggles like this. And then we just have a bunch of blocks here, green block there, and then we need I don't think that has to be a slab, but I'm just gonna keep it like that because it's cheaper anyways. And then dust there, and a a target block there, and then just to get the extra move for it, we're gonna have slabs there, dust, and a 3-tick. So now, if you can, it should do this. That should be your top done. And also, while you're down here, just place blocks there, because you need those for the cripple. Now, to get your bottom done, first we're going to place your side pistons, because you do need those. We're going to take a note block. That just got fucked, so I'm going to fix that. If you aren't, and you, I don't know, you know how to fix it, I just showed you. Nothing else should be broken. Anyways, now that you have placed the note block, you can place a dust there, and then we need a observer there, observer there, and then a 4-tick repeater. This will make your sides kind of out of sync, but it's fine. We're not doing this for beauty points. And then you're going to have observers like that. And now you're going to have 2 observers there. One of them is to bud, one of them is to update another observer. And then you're going to get your orange wool, which is for the bottom. And you'll wonder, why is this whole bottom orange? It's because the whole attraction circuit is observer spam. Because we're fucking goated. Anyways, we're going to have... wait a damn minute. I think this is locational. Probably. It's an easy fix though, because I'm genius. It's not locational in this location, but you know, just to be safe, what we're gonna do is chuck a piece of dust here and make this an observer. Oh yeah, duh. So that should fucking what? Oh yeah. So if your pistons are like this and your observers are like that, it should do this. And yeah, this way. Just reset your observers once more. And then that should be basically your whole closing circuit. We just need the triple extension, which is just a 4-tick here and a 3-tick. And then we have that there. So now, if you power the bottom, it should do this. Now, on opening, it will do this. Then we just need 2 more pulses, which is that. And the reason we have to power that is because basically how this works is, well, after you power that, we have to power this. I'll just do that. So basically, if we take, I'm gonna pretend that I didn't do that, because, yeah. So, if we take this kind of idea, and do that, essentially how this works is, first, this row will move, but I can't update anything yet because it's still moving. These observers will update because these are moving. which will pulse this, and then these will finally stop and update with this. And then since these just updated, these will update again with this. So that's how that works, if you didn't know. And then this just works by pulsing this. This all gets pushed back and powers this row again. So, yeah, pretty fun. Uh, so yeah, now for the triple retraction, what we do is we take a observer out from here, and while we're over here, we're gonna power this side, and just do that by doing this, nice and simple. And in fact, I'll just make the other side too. Also, this orange block has to be an up block. So just two observers, boom, boom. Now for the triple attractions filling in these blocks, because I don't know, it looks cooler. You need to place an observer out from here, and then another observer, a 2-tick, and then an observer there, and an observer there. That's not an observer, that's a sticky piston. Silly me. And then get ready to break out the observers, because, buddy, you're gonna need them. I don't know, there's supposed to be a joke there. So first, you're gonna have a long-ass observer line under these pistons, which is, you need a slab. That is what you need. You need a slab, and then just replace this 4-tick. And then place an observer there. Observer's going up like that. And then an observer there. And then you have observers going down like this. Place an observer there. Replace this 3-tick. And then observer, observer. And hallelujah. Praise Jesus. You're done. So if we just do that, and then we open it, should be nice and there. I don't know why that didn't work. Strange. I'm gonna look at that again. Seemed like it was just early. Not a problem. We have methods of solving that. So your bottom's gonna spaz out while we do this. So replace a hopper there instead. I'm willing to bet that should fix all your issues. So now, if we test it, maybe it'll work. I'm a genius. Anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Hope I made sense. Toodles.